All right, guys, everyone should have out their focus study guide and whiteboard. Let's go. Friendly reminder, tomorrow you do have a vocab quiz on 1 through 10. You have index cards and 11 through 20 on Monday. You have 21 through 30 on Tuesday. Your outline isn't due until Wednesday. Your focus, your study guide, and your outline, all of them are worth 20 points. Because you have a 2-page focus, 2-page study guide, 2-page full chapter outline. So this week is not a week you can kind of say, hey, I'm going to take some time off. Hey. It's not going to work out for you. Huh?
What's Jackson? Is it 20? Is it 22?
Literally, there's 20 with exactly one year.
Yeah, there was nobody around 22.
Oh, Jackson. All right, here we go. So, therapy is a treatment method aimed at making people feel better and function more effectively. Therapies come in all different types. There's obviously psychotherapy, which is talking therapy. There's obviously biomedical, which how many people, raise your hand if you've ever gone to a doctor, they've prescribed you medicine and you've taken. There you go. Congratulations. You have participated in a therapy. So, in psychology, we study psychotherapy, which is therapy for mental disorders. It's also therapy for, like, counseling. It's not just if you have bipolar, you go to psychotherapy. It's if you're going through marriage counseling, for instance, technically that's a psychotherapy. If you're going through a rough transition in life, you go to psychotherapy. Like, it's talking therapy, it's not just for mental disorders. However, in AP, we do focus on the extremes, which is why we call it safe for mental disorders. Yes. Yes. She goes every other week. And she has, like, the greatest therapist, which she's really cool. They used to go to, like, the office and stuff, but now, since they have the report, she's been seeing the same chick for, like, 3 years now. They meet at Starbucks, and my sister sometimes is like, I had a really crap week. Let's meet at the local brewery. So they go and have a beer, and they do, like, their little session. Isn't that so cute?
That is super cute.
It is so cute. I wish I had a therapist. It'd be so nice. Someone who just knows all your crap. And you can just sit there and you can just have them like, no. No. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, not leverage. Damn. Alright, so when we talk about psychotherapies or talking therapies, and that's what I would put in your application box for psychotherapies is talking therapies. We have two different types. We have insight and action. Insight theories is when you figure out why you do something. Like, why am I mean to my mother? Very complicated issue. First reason, why? Huh? No, that's my mother-in-law. That's my mother-in-law.
You don't hate her?
No, I don't think she, like, I don't know what it is about
Everyone hates their mother as they get older, because as they get older, I feel like they just...
Then you should love her as
I
you
would
get
like
older.
my mom more.
I love my mom now. I did not love her when I was your age. I couldn't. Oh my God, she was horrible. And I was also horrible. I want to pull my weight in this equation. I was a terrible, terrible teenage girl. This is how cranky and salty I am at this age. Imagine me, a hormonal teenager.
You
You think my mood swings are big now. You should see back then. Damn.
Miss Bennett's hatred for cheating because she actually got caught cheating.
No, I've never gotten taught cheating because I don't cheat. I'm not brave enough.
One time.
No. No.
You
I
had a
swear to
copy
God, I am
somewhere.
not
Nah.
brave. Nah. Insight therapy is when you figure out why. Like, why you did something, why you believe something, it's the insight. So I'd write why as your application for insight therapies. Like, why do I hate my mother? It's because we're the same person. We have the same goals as each other, all that crap. Action therapy is how to fix behavior and how to be better. For instance, if you go to action therapy, a lot of people do action therapy for dating. Some people are really bad at dating and meeting other people. So it's really hard to find someone to love and spend the rest of your life with. So dating therapy is actually super, super common. And what it is like on your first meeting, you will meet up with your dating therapist and they will check you for the basics. Do you talk weird? Do you eat weird? Because frankly, if I can't spend any time with. I have no friends that eat like this.
Oh my gosh.
It's so disgusting. When you can just see the food turn in their mouth and being murdered. There's a lot of kids that play in high school who eat like that because I'm forced to watch it.
When it's quiet and you just hear, like the
Oh my
noise
God,
from the
I
mouth.
I have a problem with slurping my drink, but I always choose my mouth with. I just have a problem with like when I'm drinking something.
Well, so you're gonna be on love for
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
It's already good.
So, but I mean, inside action therapy is like what would happen is the first time you meet them, they're gonna check you for all the weird things. Like, do you start conversations weird? Do you eat weird? Do you dress weird? And they're gonna see all that when they first meet you, and then they're gonna try to fix it. And then they set you up on dates to see, and then they'll sit there in the little cafe or in the restaurant and watch you interact.
Would you set people up with their other other clients?
They can, yeah.
If they're like, this person eats weird, so do you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Wait, that's.
It's like
That's natural, like.
I mean, that's why there's Match.com.
It's like eating harmless.
no, but those are just matching you up. Like these are people who are like trying to help you improve. Have you ever seen Hitch?
Farmers only.
No.
Farmers only.
Why do I bother? Why do I bother? It's with Will Smith.
And?
Max would know.
Max Wood. All right, and then you have biomedical therapies. Now, biomedical theories are your drugs, and that's what I would write in your application. It's the drugs. Anytime you take a drug, it's technically a biomedical therapy.
What do you mean? What do you mean for like the type of therapy? What kind of type? On the focus, specific type of therapy.
Biomedical is going to be, for instance, that would be your biological therapy.
So like psychotherapy would be like
Psychoanalytic, psychodynamic, cognitive. Action therapy is going to be behavioral.
and then insight is cognitive.
Yeah. On your focus.
I put psychotherapy.
No.
Wait, can you repeat it then?
So if you look on your focus for types of therapy, psychotherapy is going to be cognitive, psychodynamic, psychoanalytic. It's going to be all. You can. How about you just write all except behavioral?
I thought behavioral.
All except biological. They have talking therapy in that one too.
I thought biological was
No. We're getting all except biological because cognitive even has it. Biomedical is biological. Which makes sense. Then you have insight therapy, which is going to be cognitive. And then action is behaviorist. Which makes sense, thinking about all the different ways we see disorders, yes? Now we're going to continue that kind of trend here as we go. All right. Oh my God, I'm like super popular right now.
Wait,
Oh, damn it.
what'd you
Toby pooped on my carpet.
do?
Shit. Literally shit. God damn it.
How old is
2 years old. He has a tummy ache. This is number 2 on your focus. 2 on your focus. Oh, he pooped twice, friends.
What kind of poop? There's different kinds of poop.
Please.
Would you like to see a photo of it? Because I now currently have a photo of it.
I mean, if you can grace the classroom, ooh, that's yellow.
That's
gross.
nasty.
Are you sure that's poop?
Yeah, it comes out of him like melted ice cream. This is number 2 on your focus. So if you're sitting there doing nothing,
You're showing us the food. Isn't it? This is being recorded.
good. It was really disgusting.
Please post it.
Yeah, put it on Instagram. Put it on his Instagram story. Put it on his Instagram.
Ew. Well, at least I got
Just
some
food
of
from the
it on
carpet,
my.
3 times
At
a
least
week.
you got some on my wood floors, so that will make it easier. By the way, my husband's being the real MVP right now. He said, "Ugh, I'll come home and clean it." I've already cleaned up 3 poop piles. Well, no, they're not piles, as you can see. They're more like puddles. He's 2 years old and he has a really bad stomach virus.
But it doesn't normally.
No, he doesn't poop in my house.
Well, if you tell him to stop.
Can I what?
You tell him to stop.
He asked me that too.
So that
What?
I want to see someone that actually has like the balls of like, I lost my
Oh my gosh.
What would
I
you
hope
do?
we
What would you
suspend
do?
No, it's not mine.
If it happened in this class.
What?
What would you do to that person who's like, can I get my drink
I didn't know you're so artistic with your rose on your jewel. That's nice.
back? Oh, you know me better.
All right, so treatment of mentally ill, first of all, is not going to be very good. And then a guy named Felipe Pinal, which you should know, especially you in A Push. What's he famous for?
Never
learned that.
Penal?
We just started.
Penal Code, which is what? 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 Penal Code or Penal Colony is what?
That's PNAL.
Yes, I know, but it's based on Felipe Pinal. It's all about prison reforms, ladies and gentlemen. Penal code, penal system, all of that is based on Felipe Pinal, who says that we are no longer able to chain people to walls. You've all seen Aladdin, right?
Nothing wrong with
Okay, in Aladdin they just, what?
Nothing wrong.
We're done. Historically, what we used to do is we just used to lock up people with chains and tie them to a wall, and they would poop and pee there and die there. That's where they would eat if they fed them or not, and they would just die chained to a wall. Now, due to Felipe Pinal, he was like, this isn't really great for our prisoners. We shouldn't do this. And he was tired of seeing all just mentally ill people just be thrown in with these rapists, murderers, and all these other crazy things. And he was like, we need to do better by improving their lives. So that's why he wanted to create a whole new system of treatments for them. So here we go. Freud. This is the psychoanalytic style. Now, psychoanalytic is one of the things he's most famous for. So if you take a gander at my wall over here really quickly, okay, here is what it looks like when you go to psychotherapy. Over here, hello. Can you close my little window? See it, the slider?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so if you look over here, this is what psychoanalytic looks like. So everyone's seen the little day couch? Yes? Okay, you lie on the day couch, and then as you're sitting there, you're not staring at your therapist, your psychoanalyst, he sits behind you or she sits behind you. The reason is because when we say something and the person we're saying to makes like a weird face, what do we do? We stop talking. Absolutely. We feel super judged and we start changing the story, we start making it different. So with psychoanalytic, we sit to our back of the therapist and as we just talk. The therapist is going to say like, hey David, how are you? Come take a seat. And then you're going to take a seat, and then he's like, oh, David, how things are going. And then you're going to talk for 45 minutes to an hour. And he or she isn't going to say a damn thing. You're just going to talk. And in that conversation with yourself, your unconscious is going to present itself. And that's called free association.
So like, if you confess
Thank you.
like the pope or like the priest can't say, like the cops.
What the hell are you talking about?
Are you saying
So if you confess a murder to your psychoanalyst,
Psychoanalyst.
to your psychoanalyst, could they tell the cops?
Pretty sure they do.
It's
I think
there's
HIPAA.
If
Good
it's-
question, guys. Good question.
It's HIPAA.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
HIPAA is like.
I wouldn't test that, though.
Confidentiality.
But if they did though, could the whole investigation be thrown out the window?
Sweetie, I'm sorry, I don't practice law. I'm an AP psychology teacher in high school,
I know.
teaching it to high school students. I have no damn idea.
I like work at the hospital over the summer. It's like volunteer.
Oh, so you know the answer if we can whisper
It
sweet
is
murder?
Eli. It is Eli.
No, like what they do is like if someone's in like a car accident or something that needs to use or there's like a prisoner or something at the hospital, what they do is they don't put them in the system, like they don't name them in the system, it just says like
John Doe.
yeah. It doesn't name them so that people can't like go and visit them and it's like part of patient confidentiality.
There you go. See?
Well, the doctors, I know, like,
Thank you, Amber.
if you're like a kid and your parents send you up for like therapy, like
Yeah.
your therapist can tell your parents.
Yes. Under 18, you have no rights.
Yeah.
So you could literally tell your parents of the girl or guy you have a crush on, and your therapist could be like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, your kid's in love with this chick or this guy.
No.
Yeah?
No,
To the doctors.
They can honor it. They can honor it, but under the age of 18, they can kind of do whatever they want. You don't have any rights.
But at the doctors, can't the doctor legally not tell your parents if like they asked you like?
Only on certain things. Like for instance, if you're under age of 18 and you want birth control, the doctor's not allowed to tell your parents. There's a law protecting about like birth control and stuff. Yeah. But other things than that, I don't know people. Hello, AP Psych teacher, high school, limited. I appreciate you think I know everything, but I do not. What up, JR?
I don't know if foundation is
Well, that's not good. So I'm gonna
I don't
pub.
have a study.
Yeah, he doesn't. So I guess you'll figure it out. I'm gonna put it on Edsby today. You'll have to print it off. Someone took like 20 copies of it. Why does this keep happening? I'm not really sure. All right, here we go. What's up? No, well, dream interpretation is fill it in. It's looking for the unconscious that's presented itself during your dreams. All right, so dream interpretation is looking at how your unconscious influences your thoughts and ideas, because your dreams, if according to psychoanalysts, is the most pure stream of conscious from your unconscious. Of course, we have manifest content, which we talked about during states of consciousness, which is the actual content of one's dream. Like, remember, the example I gave you was the bears chasing me through the woods. The manifest content is the bears chasing me through the woods. The latent content is the meaning. The bear is my mother. So my mother is chasing me through the woods because I don't want to have children, and she wants to kill me.
Does your mom listen to this?
No, she has like a life. Free association is that technique that we were talking about. So David is my client. I say, hey, David, how are you? Take a seat. David, how's your day? And then David just talks for 45 minutes as I'm sitting there writing down. That's free association. You can do this with your friends. It's actually kind of fun. You can't look at each other because you're going to sit there and giggle the whole damn time. But challenge each other to talk for 25 minutes without stopping. It's hard to do, and you're going to say some crazy things in there because your unconscious is going to slip some things in as it's creating things to keep talking about. It's really, really funny to do, and you can easily do it. That would be free association. What?
Is it like a theory that goes with stream of conscious, or that like a true?
It's called stream of conscious. It's when you're not thinking about your unconscious, it's throwing information out and presenting itself. So we also have resistance. Now, according to Freud, which makes a lot of sense, that every single person in this room has a couple of things that they're not comfortable talking about, even with a therapist. Can we agree? Like your relationship, maybe you have a really terrible relationship with your father, and you just don't want to talk about it. So when someone brings it up, you're just like, no, we're not doing this. Yes? Okay? Your mother, whatever background, maybe you had a really traumatic event in your life. Resistance is the decision not to discuss. And that's what I would write in your application, a decision to not discuss. Okay? And then transference is when your thoughts and feelings of other people get shifted onto your therapist. Now, I always suggest that you should, when you get a therapist, at some point everyone in this room or most of you are going to see a therapist, I suggest going to see a therapist now because it's so nice. It is so nice. Because you sit there and it's all about you and you get to talk about all of your problems and they're trained to help you solve your problems. And you can sit there and you can complain about anything you want. They're going to give you great advice because that's their job, is to give good advice, and they actually genuinely care about you. It's fantastic. With that being said, most people who go opposite sex or whatever they're attracted to fall in love with their therapist. Why?
Follow themselves.
They know them. That person is being paid to care about them and listen to them, right, and give good advice. They typically fall in love with them.
Wait, you with the therapist or therapist with you?
You with your therapist.
Okay.
Your therapist can be
Yeah.
disbarred, not barred, but they can lose their license if you have sex with a client. Well, it's a whole other line. You're not allowed to do that. That is a complete exploitation of your position.
What if you have sexual relations after the night fight?
Trying.
It's
Do you have a
come up
therapist
before.
out there?
I know, Nico.
No, I'm just wondering.
Definitely, there's other laws with you and your therapist.
No problem.
I know. All right, And transference, it also happens in divorce. A lot of people go through divorce counseling with their husband, with their wife, and on their own. And a lot of people end up really hating their divorce counselor because of transference. Every time, so say McCray and I were getting a divorce. We're not, so don't start the rumor. We're fine. Actually, he's a real MVP. He's going home to clean up 2 Toby piles, or puddles. Anyway, with that being said, if I went to a therapist and was constantly talking to my therapist about my terrible, terrible divorce with McCray, eventually I'm going to think of my therapist and McCray as the same, and I'm going to have resentment. That's also transference. Makes sense. So psychodynamics, so this psychoanalytic is all Freud all the time. Can we agree? So psychoanalysis, I would write in your application box, Freud only. On your study guide, in your psychoanalysis box, I would write Freud only for your application. Psychodynamic is everyone post-Freud. They believe that psychoanalysis needs to have a lot more to it than just dream interpretation and free association. That is too simple. They have to do more. With that being said, they start doing shorter treatment times and more direct approach. So if Gabriel comes to me and says he's having issues with getting along with his mom, so we would sit there and we would figure out, okay, what's the core of the problem with mom? Here's some things we can do to help you make, the last 2 years of your life with your mom in your mom's house easier. What?
This person-centered therapy.
No. It will say person-centered therapy. Nope, we're not there yet. So non-directive is a perfect example of I'm literally being blown up right now. Still the dog walker. Apparently Toby's pooping outside now. How much poop does this dog have? Toby, action shot. Toby pooping.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice.
Is it one of those where you can click it and you can and it's like a video?
No.
Oh, like a live?
Yeah, is it a live video?
She does send videos every once in a while. Not usually of him pooping though.
Wait, so you probably don't know this, but if you're a therapist, can you choose psychoanalyst or?
You have to go to a special school to become psychoanalytic.
Oh.
So psychoanalyst, you have to go to special school. It's a total of 8 years of teaching of school, and the only place that still does it is BU. Not really. It's kind of weird.
That's your fine stuff.
Because some people are really passionate about it. Some people really believe it.
You want to hear other people's problems.
Well, if you're any type of therapist, you're going to hear people's problems for the rest of your life. Uh-huh.
It's the least
So
stressful
what happens if you
drop-off.
do
What?
crazy man? What happens if you
That's what people like, is the really complicated cases.
So they like the dude that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole clinical disorders and all that stuff. Yeah, some people are clinical therapists, where they go in and work with the hardest patients and try to figure out it's like a puzzle, trying to open up someone's mind and change it and stuff like that. I mean, my sister and her therapist are like besties. Did I tell you about my sister's therapist?
Yeah.
She does directive therapy, which means she actively asks questions. So non-directive, I would write, the client talks about whatever they want. In your application box for non-directive, the client talks about whatever the hell they want. In directive therapy, it's more of a conversation. It's a conversation. My sister goes to directive, which means the therapist asks questions and it's more of a conversation. My sister's been going to her therapist, Jill, now for about almost 4 years. Huh? What's wrong with the name Jill? Sounds like a therapist. Yes. No, it's with Bruce Willis.
No. It's the Rishi movie. It's the one they're like.
Okay, so my sister has been going to the same therapist for about 4 years now, and my sister doesn't even actually go to appointments at her office anymore. My sister meets her at Starbucks, or sometimes every once in a while they'll even go get a beer. They'll have a beer, they'll meet, my sister's favorite brewery is around the corner from her office, so sometimes they'll meet there and have a beer and do their little therapy session. She's cool as hell. I've met her a bunch of times. She's really nice. When you finish talking to Jill, you feel better as a human being, so that's nice. And so what it is that Kim would sit down and be like, oh my God, I'm having like a terrible day. And Joe would be like, why? Well, you know, me and Sam got into a big fight. What was it about? She said something really crappy about how terrible Adam is, her boyfriend, who is terrible. Who is terrible. Who is terrible. He is so annoying and so immature. Oh,
Your sister's boyfriend?
yes. Oh my God. He's the worst. Anyway, he's so annoying. And so directive is conversational. Non-directive is a psychoanalysis. For non-directive in your application box, I would write psychoanalysis because that's completely non-directive. Your therapist does not ask you a single question. You just sit there and do stream of conscious.
For what?
For psychoanalysis is non-directive, where the client just sits there and talks the whole time and there's no questions asked. What?
How much is a therapist for an hour?
It depends on what your insurance rate is.
You can't insurance for it.
It depends. Like, I think I can go on my insurance, which is not good because I'm a... I think I can go every 6 months for, like, a copay of, like, $50.
Really?
Yeah, it's not great.
Every 6 months?
Every 6 months I can go talk to a therapist. But, like, that's weird, right? You're supposed to have a rapport,
Yeah.
a conversation kind of thing. I'm not going to show up to a random stranger every 6 months and be like, hi, let me tell you all my problems. Like, that's weird. You're supposed to go, like, a couple times a month, whether weekly, bi-weekly.
You guys like do team building games or something like
Yeah.
Like you go play like
When you're a kid, because so my sister's always been depressed, and she had a really bad bout of anorexia. So I used to go with my sister to therapy, and some of her therapy sessions were like yoga sessions, and then some of the therapy sessions was art-based therapy. And so we'd ask to draw pictures of ourselves, and like, what do we see? You know, what do we like about ourselves, and all that crap. I mean, wonderful stuff, very insightful stuff.
Your sister like draw herself as like that.
Yes. Yes.
What if you don't work well with non-directive and you work well with directive? Do you choose?
Yeah, you typically don't sign up for a therapist and stay with that one therapist for a long time until you try a bunch out. Like my sister, since she graduated college maybe 5 or 6 years ago, she had a therapist at UNF that she really liked. And then when she graduated, she didn't have a job really. She worked like at a couple like dead-end kind of jobs. So she didn't really have insurance, so she didn't really have anyone she would pay for it when things got bad. But once she got insurance at her new job about 4 years ago, she tried out a couple people. And sometimes you like some people you like and some people you don't, right? Like she walked into a couple offices and was like, oh my God, this lady is so creepy. And she never called them again and everything. And then I think Jill was like her third or fourth. So she went to 3 or 4 different therapists, checked them out, met with them, sat with them, stuff like that, and it just did not go well. So she didn't. All right, here we go. So Rogers, this is person-centered. This is, by the way, number 4 on your focus. I would fill it out on your focus if we're being honest. So Rogers person-centered therapy. This is non-directive as well, which means the client does all the talking.
It's number 4 on our focus?
Yeah. Explain how person-centered therapy.
You write like the 4 elements on it.
I would, yes. How does it become non-directive? It means you don't ask questions. You're going to have to put some thinking in here, my darling. You're a very smart young lady. I have full faith in you.
They're really hating you.
All right. So, person-centered therapy is non-directive, which means the client gets to talk about whatever the hell they want. So if I showed up to my person-centered therapist and my therapist was like, hey, Sam, how are you today? I was like, oh, my God, by the way, I had chocolate-covered almonds today from Fresh Market. They are amazing. My favorite thing. They're so good. They're so good. Every once in a while, you get, like, an amazing bag. I had an amazing bag today.
it's like raspberry.
They are, but they're so good, though.
It's like trying. It's like.
But the Publix ones are disgusting because it's like the grainy chocolate. It's not good. That's weird.
No.
They're amazing.
No.
I've never had them.
I've never had them either.
Have you had the acai berries?
Yes, not with chocolate.
Like the Brooks, they're like Brooks Stone or
No,
whatever.
I'm too poor for that. I'm too poor.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good.
Too poor.
Dried pineapple.
Yeah,
It's
that's
on the
pretty
fresh
good.
market.
How about,
Are they covered in chocolate or no?
no, it's just
that's
Kinda like some sugar.
Wait, what about like chocolate colored coffee?
Oh, those are so good. The
Okay,
espresso, the
espresso.
mixed
Yeah,
ones?
espresso,
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so too much coffee flavor?
I mean, it is
It's pretty gross.
No, it's not that much at all. So good. Anyway, so I show up to my therapist appointment. I'm like, hey, how are you? And they're like, oh my God, I had chocolate covered almonds today. They were the best. And I'll spend 45 minutes talking about chocolate covered almonds. Guess what? My therapist is not going to interrupt. If I can spend 45 minutes talking about chocolate covered almonds, guess what? My therapist is going to be like, oh my God, that's so exciting, Sam. Wow. Because they're going to be, well, why did you need chocolate covered? Because, damn it, I deserve it. And it's treat yourself. Is what I would say. Yeah, no.
Like, that's the whole point of it.
But that's like the point of it, is so you have a genuine connection, you feel in control. So when you do decide to share something actually insightful, actually important, then you feel like I'm telling them because I want to. Have you ever watched My 600-Pound Life?
Yes.
They do therapy sessions on there and they get straight to the point. Why are you 600 pounds? Oh, it's because I was sexually abused. And this is in the first like 2 minutes of meeting them. And you're just like, wow, this escalated really quickly. You know what I mean? And so that would be directive because they're sitting down saying, oh, what type of abuse have you endured?
Best part is the montage. That's my hope.
So then you have unconditional positive regard, which means that your therapist is always going to be positive about you. So when your parents go to their therapist, who is person-centered therapist, and they say, I hate my child because they annoy me, they are rude as hell, they are such a waste of money, their therapist is going to be like, oh my God, you are so right. Preach, sister. Your kid is terrible. Person, because it's not supposed to be judged. Each of us have things that we think about that are really horrible and hateful, correct? That if we tell someone, think about your closest friends. Hopefully your closest friend you could say something to, and that they're not going to judge you for it, correct? They're going to judge you for it. You have terrible friends. Do better. Goodbye.
Do better.
Wait, we never use it.
Not as bad
Damn it.
as I hate my child.
Goodbye,
Such like
I wanna go.